Howdy y'all, welcome back to my Let's Play of EVE Online. When last we left off, we had just finished the tutorial missions for our starting character, which brought us to our new star system here in Uetra. And this is where you do the career missions here. But first, as you may have noticed, the UI looks a little different. The icons over here on the left look different. The station HUD over here looks different. There's some blue, some different icons. That is because the Rhea patch went live. It went live on December 9th, 2014. And this is one of the upgrades that they did in the patch, was to revamp the user interface. They said they wanted a more sci-fi look to it. And I like it. Another one of the improvements was to the star map. They now have a beta star map, which I'll bring up and show you. And yeah, it's a lot different. You can actually zoom in all the way to the solar system, and you don't have to bring up another window like you did in the old map. You can just zoom all the way in from the galaxy map, or you can zoom out and look at the map in the same way that you did. The other one is just a lot more vibrant and colorful, and I think it's a really good addition to the game. But, like I said last time, we are going to start the military career. I find for any new pilot, even if you're not going to do military type stuff, if you're not going to run security missions, or you're not going to engage in PvP, or you're not going to do fleet battles, I would still recommend doing the military career tutorial first, simply because the items and the skill books that you do get for running the military career will help you in any of the other career paths you take, for the lone exception of maybe industry. And industry is pretty much you sitting in a station making things out of blueprints, trading on the regional market. You don't really get out in your ship as part of the industry career. But if you do business or exploration, you're definitely going to be out in space, and anytime you leave a station in EVE, you are susceptible to getting shot at. So because that is the case, there's always a good reason to try and defend your own ship, and the military career at least gets you started. And some very basic items that will help you to defend your ship, whether you're in a venture mining asteroids, you're out exploring anomalies, or you're actually out trying to hunt people down and shoot them. So we will start here with Ranta Turum. This is just a warning about now if you fail or decline missions, you will start taking those standing penalties that we talked about in our first tutorial mission. But that's just a reminder of, hey, don't mess these things up, or these people will get mad at you. So we'll just get rid of that. Okay. Ranta says that he is wanting us to go out and shoot some pirates in an asteroid belt for him, called Cash Flow for Capsuleers. And in return, he will give us a repair systems book, and he will give us a Gatling gun and some antimatter charges. And when we get back, he'll give us the repair systems book right when we take the mission, so we will immediately start training that. Once he gives it to us, the repair systems is for armor and hull repair items. Since we're running a Caldari ship, we really don't use these. The Caldari are shield tanks. We mainly use shield boosters. But if you ever wanted to run a different type of ship, then you would certainly want to you would want to have the skills available to repair armor if you run an armor tank ship, which is basically almost any other civilization's ship. They are armor tanks. Caldari is about the only one that does shield tanking. So he'll give us this right off the bat when we click accept. Here's Aura again. She's just talking about optimal range on weapons, which we learned about at the end of our tutorial mission. We learned about optimal ranges and fall-offs. So let us first close this. Now that we've taken the mission, we will go into our inventory. And here is our repair system skill book, and we will just train that to level 1 immediately. And we will close this, and we will undock. And then once we undock, we will locate our mission area. Here we go. Now, she's talking about weapons information. We went over this in our last tutorial video. She just talks about the optimal range, fall-off range, etc. for our weapons. So we'll click next on that. To test this, you'll need a target. Okay, so I need a target. In order to find our target, we go up here to our Agent Missions window. We drop it down, and we warp to the encounter location. So we'll just click on that.
Warp drive active.
And if you'll notice, these stations are now beautiful. Look at that. Those things really look cool now with the new graphics. Alright, so we'll fly out to our mission area. And we have 2 little red crosses. Here is our first enemies of the day. Let's swing around here and see if I can get a look at these guys before we start shooting at them. I'm having trouble finding them though. This will help. Let me target them. There he is. Alright, now, like we said last time, we have an optimal range of 600 meters. So what we will do is we will go to our orbit. We will shrink this orbit down to 500 meters. And once we are within range, our fall-off range is 2100 meters. So once we're within 2000 meters, we can start shooting. Once we close to 600, we will be at our highest DPS range. So we will just take a look at him before we kill him. This is one of these pithy irrigators. He's flying one of these. Looks like he's kind of flying away from us. Interesting. He's orbiting some, looks like, interstellar mine bit. But we'll go back to our ship since we should be closing in, and we are, and we will open fire. There we go. And he's dead. Oh, and he left a container. A solid... Okay, anytime you... Let me stop our ship. Anytime you destroy a ship in space, they have the chance to drop loot. And the loot will be depending upon how difficult the thing was that you were shooting at. If they do drop loot, this triangle here will be colored a solid white. If they don't, the triangle will be hollow, like this beacon triangle is hollow. But this one actually dropped loot, so we will click and hold, and we'll go to open cargo, and we will close in on him, and we'll find out what we got. In the meantime, there looks to be someone bearing down on us out here. Let's just go ahead and get him target locked at the moment. Okay, they drop metal scraps. You'll get metal scraps more than you get anything else. They sell for 1,000 or 2. This one will sell for 1,400 in this area. It's not a lot, but it's something. So now we've got our irrigator again. Let's go back and orbit him at 500 meters. And let our ship get back out there. We'll click next here because we already did this. Right click on your target to bring up a contextual menu under orbit. Yeah, you can choose your optimal range, which we have. And then she just says if you want to know more, you can have these good links here for help if you need any more information on it. We really don't. I mean, we're clipping along just fine out here. So let's fly on in and see how we're doing here. And if you'll notice, they didn't immediately just rush us and start attacking. That is because sometimes in EVE, you have to get within a certain distance before NPC ships notice you. And we're too far away for them to really care. Now this time when we blew the ship up, it has a hollow triangle, and there are no, so that means there's no loot in this one. Now if we had a salvager equipped and we had the salvaging skill, what we could do is we could target this wreck. We could get within 2,500 meters of it. We could click our salvaging item, and it would salvage the wreck and break it down into component parts for us. And those component parts are then used to create riggings, which we will probably do much later once we have a salvaging unit and the skill to use it. But that's another way you can kind of make money off of rat killing, is not only by killing them and getting the bounties, looting the things that they drop, but also by salvaging the wrecks, getting the salvage components and either selling the components themselves or turning them into riggings that you can then sell the rigs on the market as well. Alright, now let's go kill these other two guys out here. We've got one at 68 kilometers, one at 71 kilometers. We'll select that one. He's the closest. So we will left click and hold again. You can do that on the overview, and we'll get within 500 meters of him so that we can get within our optimal range. Now since there's two of them, we're probably going to get shot a little bit more. Notice we've only taken like a scratch of damage, barely anything that even, you know, I wouldn't even worry about. We've taken 5 points of shield damage. Not that big a deal, really. So, if we had an afterburner, then at this point I would engage my afterburner so that I could close this distance faster. Also, afterburners make your ship travel faster, which makes your ship harder to hit when you're orbiting your target. The slower you go, the easier it is for other ships to hit you, the easier it is for them to target you. The faster your ship goes, the harder you are to hit, unless the other ships have items that they have put on their ship to counteract that, targeting assist modules and that sort of thing to help counteract someone who's got a lot of micro warp drives or afterburners and that are going really fast. Of course, there's also always the inhibitors, the webbing items that will slow your ship down, and that helps more than anything. And some of those will even prevent you from warping away from the battle, where you either win or you lose your ship. And then of course there are counters to that. EVE is built on just layers of, you know, item counter, counter to the counter, counter to that counter type thing. And how you fit your ship is going to depend on what you can do and what you're weak against. So, also you'll notice our targeting button here has grayed out. That's because we're too far away to get a target lock on our pithy arrogator here. The distance that you can lock a target can be increased with skills that you can train. Targeting skills will allow you to increase the distance that you can lock on a target. other ships also will help you increase the distance, and you can fit items on your ship to help increase that distance. Now, if you'll notice, when we got close, these guys got these yellow hash marks around them. These yellow hash marks means they have aggroed onto you and that they have targeted you and they are seeking in some way to destroy your ship. You can tell even in the overview, you get those little yellow hash marks. That means they have noticed you and they are coming to get you. So we're within 2,500 meters. We'll go ahead and start shooting at them. And while we're at it, we'll go ahead and lock the other one on as well. You can lock 2 targets on your initial rookie ship. What that means is you can have 2 people up here locked at one time. If you had multiple weapons, you could select one and select one weapon for them. You could then select the second one that you have locked and select your second weapon and fire at both at the same time, if you so chose. Now, none of them dropped anything, and that was the last group that we needed to kill. We got our green check mark, so we're ready to return home and finish this mission. So we will go ahead and dock. Rather than just approach, we will go ahead and dock with the station, since we are ready to go back, so that we can then complete the mission and get our rewards. So let's walk back to the station. Are. My goodness, those are beautiful. They really did a good job on this.
Docking permission requested. Docking request accepted.
Alright, here we go. In order to complete the mission, we just bring up the conversation window again. We have our check mark. No other objectives are necessary. So we will complete the mission and get our 75mm Gatling gun and our 2,000 antimatter charges. Now, she's saying that you can repair damaged armor or hull. If we had taken any damage, we could click on the repair icon here, click on our ship, say repair item, and it will bring up how much money it would cost, or how much ISK it would cost to repair your ship if you took any armor or hull damage and you did not have an armor or hull repair unit fitted so that you could fix it yourself. You can fix those in a station. Shields automatically recharge whenever you enter a station, so there's no cost for that. But if you need to repair armor or hull, then you will have to pay ISK if you do not have the repair units yourself in order to fix them. And that's what she's telling us there. And then she just explains how to repair things and about the repair modules. So we'll click done there. And that is our first military mission. If we come over here to our inventory, we will see that we now have a 75mm Gatling rail and some antimatter charges. What we'll do is we'll send those antimatter charges into our ship so that we can take them along with us. If you'll notice, here's the 2,000 that we got right now, and here's the 300 we had left over from the tutorial missions. What you can do is to combine those. We can right click here in the empty space of our cargo hold, and we can select stack all. And that will combine everything that is stackable. It'll combine the things that are separated out. Now, since we don't need the civilian shield booster, we have one already fitted onto our ship. We have a better version of that. We have a small shield boost 1. We will go ahead and we will toss this into our item hanger. We will toss these clearance documents into our item hanger. and the metal scrap that we picked up. We'll put that in our item hanger as well. Now, item scraps for us aren't really useful. We can't do anything with them. We can't break them down. We could, but we don't really have the refining skills to make that profitable. If you wanted to skill up your refining skills, you could actually get something out of these metal scraps, and that would probably be more profitable than the metal scraps themselves. But because our refining skills are so bad, we really don't have any at all. We are better off just selling the metal scraps. So to sell them, you would right click on them, go down to sell this item right here. You left click on that. This brings up your sell window, and we can immediately sell this right now for $1,259 and change in ISK. If we don't like that number, we can always right click over here and view the market details of this item. We can see that there are people selling it for $1,400, $1,500, $1,400. You know, people are selling it for different amounts, but the buyers, people are buying this for about $1,200. There are people that have placed active buy orders at this station, and they will, if anyone just sells immediately their scrap, it will be sold to one of these buy orders, and that's what you're actually selling to. See, if we went to Jeddah, the Caldari Navy Assembly Plant in Jeddah, we could actually sell this for $1,400. I don't really care to make that much, to make a $200 difference. So I'm just going to go ahead and sell these where we are. Just get a little bit of money started. So there we go. You're about to sell the item. Yes, I am. And there we go. We sold it. Kind of clear up a little bit of space. So whenever we have room. We can actually fit 2 turrets onto our IBIS here. We can fit either 2 turrets, or we can fit 2 missile launchers. These 2 dots here show that we could fit 2 missile launchers, but we can only fit 2 of anything in our high slots because we only have 2 high slots. We could go 1 turret and 1 missile launcher. That's allowed because we have room for 2 or room for 2. We can always go 1 and 1, but we can never go above the number of slots that your ship has, and you can never go above the number of allowed hard points that your ship has. Some ships don't allow any turrets to be fitted to them. Some ships don't allow any missile launchers to be fitted to them. And then others like this IBIS will allow a mix of the 2. But what we will do, since we have our Gatling gun, we will go ahead and fit that. Now you see it filled up both our slots and it filled up both of our hard points. And we will then go to our ship's bay, cargo bay, and we can just drag and drop some ammo onto the gun, get a little bit of ammo in there. We can also refill the ammo on our civilian electron blaster. Just kind of refill it. That shows you that it is now full. That's kind of a fill gauge on your ammo. If you ever wanted to take the ammo out without taking the gun off, you just mouse over it. You can slide down here to this unfit module. The first one will unfit everything that's in that slot, and that shows you the gun. It'll give you information on the gun. Oh, remove charge. This first one will take out the ammo that you have selected. The second one, you see this gun icon here. If you wanted to take out the gun, you could unfit the entire thing, charge and gun, by clicking this button, and it will take the ammo out of the gun and take the gun out of that slot. Or if you just wanted to remove the ammo and leave the gun in place, you click on this arrow and it removes the ammo but leaves the gun. So that's what those are for. Now that we've finished this, in our next video we will continue the military career path, and we will take on mission number 2. I will see